it is difficult to kiss summer goodbye. I hope that you have had a wonderful summer. Stanley and I had so much fun in our garden this summer with our fruit and vegetables. Most nights for dinner, we were able to eat just the things that we grow in our garden. Well, we didn't grow the rice, of course, but it was just so much fun. Another thing we took up this summer was pickleball. Well, Stanley's been playing it, but I started playing this summer, and my favorite story of that is when I went to the community center in our town to play. You know, you have to pay a little fee, and Stanley said, well, did you ask for the senior citizen discount? And I said, no, why would I do that? And he just looked at me. So I guess I'm going to have to start thinking about that now as I'm out and about doing my business. Just one more thing for me to have to remember, but that was pretty funny. It was quite a revelation. What do you do in your class when your students first come? You know, they need to do their routine of setting themselves up for the day, but then they need to leave you alone so that you can do things like attendance and take care of notes that come in. And, you know, there are always so many little things that we have to take care of in the beginning, in those first moments of the day. And as I look at my career, I realize I've done a variety of things. I used to have them do like a little, you know, I've had them do a worksheet early in my career. And then I moved to Marcy Cook tiles, but that was a little challenging because sometimes they needed my help, and I need them to be able to do it independently. Then I remember I did this thing where it was called the Big Five, and I put it on my overhead projector, like 5 little review questions, and they would answer those at their desks. And what else have I done? Oh, daily oral language, like those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kinds of things. I've done that. And in the last several years, I've had them just read. When they come in and get themselves set, they just sit down and read. And that has been lovely because it gives us extra reading time and it keeps them occupied. They don't need my help, and it's quiet. I need things to be relatively quiet in the morning when they come in. I don't want, you know, a big ruckus. But last year, at the end of the year, I was on Instagram. I've started that now, and I'm kind of having fun getting to know about Instagram. It's my first social media kind of thing. But I saw a kindergarten teacher made a post that she says, I'm saying goodbye to morning worksheets, and I'm going to be doing sensory bins. And that really caught my eye. You know, as teachers, we've long known the power of sensory play, curiosity, problem solving, creativity, the ability to calm an agitated child. And, you know, these are all good things. And so I commented, you know, do you think 4th grade that would be appropriate? And she thought, yeah, I think it would. And I think it would too. So another 4th grade teacher commented to my comment. And so we communicated with each other a little bit, and we're brainstorming some things that we could do, and she's going to try it too. So I thought maybe you would be interested in trying it. And so the first thing I did is I started making a list of all the things I needed to buy for these sensory bins. And I came up with a very quick and lengthy list. And then I went into my cupboards during the summer, and I realized I don't think I have to buy one thing. I think I have enough things in my classroom that I can just repurpose them for the sensory bin. And I started with Legos. I did buy little containers at Target. I had containers here in my room, but most of them didn't have lids and they were mismatching. So I bought these, and I separated out my Legos into several bins. And then I have my pattern. And then I have my pattern blocks, which I think the students will love, and I have them separate out in a few different bins too. Whenever we do Unifix Cubes for math, the students always want to play with them. Well, now I'm going to give them time to do so. I found these. I don't even know what they're called, but they're interlocking blocks. I made a bin of that. I took out my 3D geometric blocks. I took out my Jenga game and put it in a bin. Some of these I think they'll have to do on the carpet so that if it falls on the desk, it won't make such a loud mess. I had this last year for students who needed calming time. And I myself just love to keep my hands in the rice. I must warn you, it does make a bit of a mess, so I don't know if you are willing to do that, but that's a really nice sensory bin. I think birdseed is supposed to be another nice sensory bin. And I bought these several years ago on Amazon. They're food trays, but I use them for my Friday science labs, and I'm going to put these in the sensory bin area so that they can do their play on a tray when appropriate. And I have, I know your students come with these too, all their little fidget gadgets, and I thought, why don't I just put them in a bin, and I know they'll have ones that they'll want to contribute, and then they can use them before school even starts. I don't know, coloring? Would students enjoy coloring, or maybe a free draw bin? Did you play the cat's cradle game when you were growing up? The string? I've never taught my students how to do that, and I think I'm going to do that with a sensory bin this year. So I just need to get some string. And I have some hacky sacks that I use for building background with Save Me a Seat, and I thought, I don't want them to go on YouTube during class and do it. I will have them do this on their own time, but then when they come to class, they can try their hacky sack skills and maybe learn. And then I thought about juggling. I have some bean bags. Maybe they could learn how to juggle. I have dominoes. I'm not sure if they would want to play with them or stack them up to send them falling down in patterns. I'm going to make a tangram bin, and I'm going to make a silly putty. I was thinking about clay. Play-Doh would be great, and I even love the smell of Play-Doh. But I was thinking for a short period of time, silly putty would be perhaps better and more manageable for them. And I was going through my science things, and I realized I can make a magnetic bin. So just things that I have in my room that I've gathered and repurposed for sensory play. I have these magnets too. I bet you have some of these. I have a variety of magnets. So the other thing I was thinking is I bet that the students have things at home that they'll want to bring and add to it. Lincoln Logs, I don't know. I think the students will come up with a lot of different activities. And the only rule that the kindergarten teacher said that she was going to do was not let them play with the same item 2 days in a row. And now I'm not going to have a bin for every one of my students. I'm hoping to have about 12 bins or maybe 15. And then they can share and team up. But I thought that was a good procedure for them to have to rotate activities so that they don't always, because you know who it's going to be. It's going to be the first students who arrive who can get to the activity first. And I'm hoping that's another benefit for my families who struggle to get their children to school on time. I'm thinking that this will be an inspiration, a motivation for them to hurry up, Dad, Mom, I've got to get to school, to start their play. So I'm excited to try it. I wanted to try it on the first day of school, and I realized, no, that won't work because I'm going to have to teach them the routine and procedure, so we can maybe start the second day of school and see how it goes. What do you think? Is that something that you think you might like to try? Sensory bins to start our new year. I'm really hoping that in addition to all of those benefits that we know sensory play give, that this will be a time of healing for our students and a time for them to explore and be happy. I saw that sensory play is also inclusive, and I thought, what does that mean? So I read on and saw that you don't need any particular skill set to be successful in sensory play. It levels for everybody, and I thought that is a good thing. That's a good thing for growth mindset, and it's a beautiful concept that I want to flourish in my classroom. So sensory play, I'm going to give it a try.